Hello, Archmere Academy. This is Mr. McGowan. I am just here to give a little tutorial on the use of Noodletools, which is a fantastic website that we will be using for our Freshman National History Day project, but we'll also be using and can be used in any class for any project where you have to gather sources. So what we're going to do is, first thing, this is the sign-in area. So I'm going to sign in using my Archmere Academy email address and just sign in with Google. It'll then take me to the front page. Now, as you can see, I have already created a couple projects already here for my freshman NHD courses. What we will do is yours will probably be blank, so we'll add a new project. So go up to this little green button here and click New Project. It'll then prompt you to add a title. So your teachers will probably give you a heads up on what they would like you to title your project. I'm going to tell my students to use their last name and then whatever their NHD title is. Click there. And then down here we can have any type of citation that we're going to be using. So we will be using MLA format. We'll also be looking at the level. We're going to click Advanced because we want to have all the bells and whistles that Noodletools has to offer. So after we do that, we'll click Submit. And now I'm in my project. So the next thing we'll do is we want to share this project with a project inbox created by our teachers. So you would click on this button here, and you would then search for the inbox. So your teacher should have already created a project inbox for you to submit your project to. So I would have my students type in McGowan and then the section number. Now, once I start typing in my last name, they'll see a list of the project folders that I've already created. Obviously, I can't submit to my own folder, so that's why it's coming up with no recorded matches, but you'll have a list of it there. Please make sure that you are submitting to the proper folder because that can get a little confusing. So once we have done that, we will click then Done, and then your project will be shared with your teacher, and your teacher can then see all of your citations, all of your note cards, and updating of your outlines. So without you having to resubmit. All right. So it keeps it in real time. They can see when you did it, and when you submitted all these things, and they can keep track of your progress and help you out if you need it. So after that is done, we're going to go now to gathering sources. So let's say I've just started researching, surfing the web, looking for sources on my topic, and let's say I found a few. So what I would then do is I go to this tab here called Sources, click on that, and now I'm ready to add my sources into this area. So there are actually 3 easy ways of doing it. Or adding sources. So the first is if I click on New Source, I will then pick what type of source it is. So let's say I went and surfed the web and I found a great website. I click on Website. Now this is where it might get a little overwhelming. Okay, you might get a little confused. Not a big deal. You can easily edit this later if needed. But let's say I went on this website and I found a great website on court cases. So I'll click Court Cases. And then it would then automatically adjust to add some areas to fill in if it is on court cases. But what I would do is I would populate these areas with all the proper information that is needed. As you see, it's a court case, so it's plaintiff, defendant, all that other jazz. And then once I've added all this information, I would go down here and click Save. If I am annotating this source, I would click Save and Annotate, and a little box would pop up and allow me to type in the annotation at the bottom. So it's a quick, easy step. So that's one way. A second way is if you have a website that already provides you with your sources in MLA format in a proper citation, I would then just click this quick cite, copy and paste, and it'll then take me to this area where I would just simply copy, paste into this box here, provide the date, and then provide the URL since it is a website. And again, I can click save, or I can click save and add an annotation if I am annotating this source. So that's the second way. The third way, which is also very, very, very convenient, is let's say I'm using a database and I have been searching on the school library website, and I went to UD LibSearch and I found a great source on in the history and context. So I'll click on the world history and context here, and let's say I just found this. Ming Dynasty, fantastic. This is what my topic's on. All right, so I'll read a little bit more, see what it's like. This is a fantastic site, great resource. I think I'll use it. So what I would then do is, if I wanted to use this site, instead of having to, or cite the source, instead of having to gather all the information, what I would do is I'd go up here to Cite. I would click on that, and as you can see, it's already provided. I could change the citation format if I wanted to, but since we're using MLA format, it's right there. I can copy, paste it into that area, that little box that I showed you, or, which is also a great feature for Noodletools and Gale, is that if I drop down here to this export, you see that all the areas that you can export to, Noodletools is one of them. So this is a great, easy way of citing a source without having to do all the retyping. One thing that I would recommend is keeping your Noodletools open, or having it open, so that it easily exports, so there's no confusion. So make sure that Noodletools up here is open. So I'll click Noodletools, I'll click Export, and here's the citation again. Let's say I double checked it and something's wrong. I can go down here and I can click this and I can make changes. If not, it looks all good. I'll keep it there, and then I'll go down to the bottom, and as you see, it says project, and then it gives the title. So if I click this drop down, it's all of the projects that I have now created. So I want to make sure that I'm picking the proper title. So I'll click that, I'll hit import, and this little green bar will pop up saying that successfully exported to the project. Okay, so that's done. Click out of here. I'll go back to my Noodletools, and just to be safe, I'll check it. Okay, I'll go to this McGowan NHD title. I'll check and see if my source is now uploaded, and there it is. So easy steps. Those are 3 ways of how you can get your source citation in. So now that I have the source cited, and I'm now, I can go back and forth. If I click this, I can go directly to that site, so I don't have to worry about jotting down or keeping track in other areas. It's all done for me. Now what we'll do is we're going to take a look at how to create a note card. Okay, I have my source. If I annotate, it would be down here, and don't worry, if you upload straight from Gale or another database like that, and you still need to annotate, you go over here to options, you click over here, and you click edit annotation, and it'll allow you to add an annotation if you need it. So after I've done that, I'll go to note cards, and we'll be using note cards to keep track of information that we're finding in our sources. So an easy way to do it, as you see, I have no note cards yet, so I'll go up and click new, and then this is the areas that I now have to populate. So I want to give it a title. So let's say this, keeping track of my note cards by how I will be using them. So let's say I'll use big C context. I'll label it that way. Okay. I click on sources, and a drop-down box comes in, and it'll have all the sources that I now have. So I'm saying that I'm going to use this one to add the source. or this is the source I'm using to add the citation for this note card. If it's a website, I'll add the URL. If it's a book, I can add the page number here. But now I can just populate it. So let's say this is a great quote. I'll use this, copy, paste it. There it is. Okay. Next, over here, I'll summarize it. So shorten it down so it's easier to remember. So paraphrase or summary. And then the My Idea area is you can add little things. It has little prompts in here. Maybe how you'll use it in your book or in your paper. So that's an option there. And then down here are tags. So your teachers will go over what tags they may want you to use, or you can create your own. So let's say I want to tag this as Big C. Okay, so that'll be saved there. If I've already created tags, I can click this, and this will be a drop down. So once I've populated all of this, I'll then click Save and Close, and there it is. There's my note card. And if I drag over it, it'll tell me everything that I put into the note card. You can see it. And once I now collect a lot of note cards or created a lot of note cards, it may be scattered all over the place. One great thing that we can then do is we could stack these note cards into piles. So I can easily click and drag it anywhere I want. So I can create piles according to however I want to sort them. This would allow me to manage those piles. We'll talk about that later in class. But now this is the real cool thing. So let's say I've gathered all my sources, got all my note cards down. Now it's time for my pre-writing. So I go over here to my outline. So how I would like to set up my paper. So what I'll do, they already provide the topic and subtopic. So I'll double click this to change the title of the topic. So this will be Big C context. Okay, and then my subtopic, since I'm talking about the Ming Dynasty, maybe post-classical empires. Okay, and then let's say I want to go even further. So and add a new level. So what I would then do is I'd highlight this. I'd go up to the little box here and click Add Topic or Subtopic. So I want to add a subtopic to this area, so I would click that, and there you go. And now I can add in Ming Dynasty. Okay, so this is a way of organizing out your thoughts, pre-writing, getting your paper organized. But now here's the real cool thing. So let's say I've created this whole outline, how I want it organized. Now I have my note cards here. I can grab the note card, I could drag it over, and I can say, all right, let's put it with Big C context. There it is, right there. So it's all in one spot, and it's now organized out, so I know that I'm using that note card for that area or that topic. Let's say I feel that this needs to be moved. I can easily just catch, drag it again, and move it here, and there you go. So it's very easy to use. So that's all for right now. Your teachers will go into the real nitty-gritty specifics. This is just a general overview. So hopefully it helps. I apologize if I spoke a little too fast or went a little too fast. Best thing about this is you could pause it, you could rewind it, you could rewatch it. So it's all here for you. So hopefully it was helpful, and good luck using Noodletools and diving into the wonderful world of Noodletools. Have a great night.